Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this post, I want to share some knowledge about myself for the purpose of you taking these skills and applying it to your own life and seeing what you find. You might fascinate yourself. Back in 2013, when I was studying numerology, trying to learn more about the significance of numbers, I discovered a website called The Accidental Numerologist. And his website was about how he discovered essentially something similar to what I've found. And he applied these skills of decoding our names, decoding our birthdays, and finding the numbers that are significant to our own lives. And what he asserts on his website is that all the numbers that make up our life are connected to all the people who we interact with, the relationships we have. When I was reading this in 2013, I was a major skeptic. I didn't see the logic behind it. It didn't seem to be possible. But since then, I've discovered gematria and a whole lot more. And if you've seen my video posts, you've probably heard me talk about my relationships with women and the numbers 47 and 74 and how they continually come up in my life and the women I date. For years, I dated women not knowing a thing about gematria, not a thing about numerology, and I never realized this until after finding the skill. And just to show you a short example of this, it was last year, April 7th, 4/7 or 7/4, depending on where you are, 2014. Out of nowhere, I got two text messages from girls I had dated more than a year in the past. One girl's name was Trish, which has a simple English gematria of 74, and the other's name was Maddie, which has a simple English gematria of 47. On April 7th, Trish and Maddie texted me out of nowhere. And when I decoded their names, my jaw hit the floor. And then it made me think deeper. The girl I was dating then, that I'm still dating now, that I've been dating for years, I'd met her on the 4th of July once upon a time. In the past, I had a girlfriend who was very much obsessed with the number 47. Her mother was born in 47. She used it in everything, her email, her passwords, just things that stand out. And then I think about the very first girl I ever dated in my life. Her name was Christina. Christina has a gematria of 47 Pythagorean. It's just so odd. I was born in the 33rd state, Oregon, the only state with a gematria of 74. I was born in a hospital called Good Sam. Good has a gematria of 41, Sam 33, put it together 74. If you go back and read this website, The Accidental Numerologist, this is what he says. He says where you're born, the time you're born, the day you're born, your name, all these numbers, they impact you for the rest of your life. And like I said, when I read this in 2013, I thought, no, this can't be real. But in the time I've been doing this research, applying it to my own life as well as people around me, I've seen that these patterns are real. My sister and her husband, both of their fathers' birthdays are March 11th. They named their first child Sam. No, they don't know a thing about numerology or gematria. Sam's a 33 name. With regards to that date, 3/11, it has a connection to 33. Just think about what 3 times 11 is, 33. Okay, those examples aside, I want to show you me and my mother and my father. I am their only child. Yes, I just mentioned my sister, but she has a different father than I. My mother and father, I am their only child. My dad doesn't have any other kids. I'm his only kid. I just noticed something before Father's Day that blew my mind, Truth Seeker. This is my dad's full name right here. Timothy Stephen Hubbard. His name gematria, 89. My full name, Zachary Keefe Hubbard. Name gematria, 89. Interestingly enough, him and I have a similar life number through this method of numerology. His birthday's April 18th, 1953. Mine, July 21st, 83. Both of us have life numbers of 31. And interestingly enough, the word father has a Pythagorean gematria of 31. I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, like father, like son. And in the case of my father and I, some very serious connections. And for anyone who's watching this, because this does happen, I realize this is the internet and you guys don't know me. Sometimes I post stuff about this And people write things, well, that's because you're in the Illuminati. That's because you're a Freemason yourself. No, 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 truth seeker. Trust me. My parents, as great as they are, not the most skilled in the educational department. I guarantee you they couldn't create a name with gematria even if they tried. This is truly just however this matrix of numbers might work. But we're not done yet. My mother, her birthday's on September 8th. Throughout the world, that date's written 9/8. In other parts, 8/9. Again, my father and I, our full names sum to 89. And the day I was born, Truth Seeker, July 21st, 1983, this is still the coldest official temperature ever recorded. Look at the temperature, -89°C. Isn't that something else, Truth Seeker? My dad and I, names with 89 gematria, my mother with a birthday connected to this date, and then they have their only child on a date with a record temperature corresponding with their own numbers. That website, The Accidental Numerologist, this would be another shining example of what he's presenting. So, I would like for you to apply this to your own name. See if there's any connections with you and your parents, you and your spouse, husband, whatever, your relationships, your best friend, your children. I think this stuff is truly fascinating. I think that there really is a greater power to these numbers, and it's possible also that subconsciously our minds are aware of more than we know. For all my life, I asked my parents how they created my name, Zachary Keefe Hubbard. There's no Zacharys in the family. There's no Keefes. My father and I, we have this last name, Hubbard, but we don't have a bloodline to this name. My dad does not know who his real father is. But anyhow, my parents, they said they don't know. They just thought the name sounded good. That's how they named me. They thought it sounded good. Zachary Keefe Hubbard. But lo and behold, it seems like there was a greater significance to it than even they realized. So anyway, if you're new to this, go to my blog, or just go to YouTube and search How to Gematria. This will come up right here. Video by me. How to Gematria, the secret relationship between English and sacred geometry. Watch this video. You will have all the skills to do what I have done here. And please be willing to share. I would love to see what other people find in the comments. You know? I'll tell you another story from my own life yesterday, Truth Seeker. A friend of mine, a girl, she's my age. She's been having a lot of relationship trouble. Guys have been very bad to her. She was talking to me about the shooting in South Carolina and how it was depressing her. And I told her not to worry about it too much. Our media, they're just trying to make us mad. And oftentimes what they report's not even real. And then I started to tell her more about the shooter, and I said his birthday's April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year, and she goes, "What? April 3rd? That's my birthday." I didn't realize that her birthday was April 3rd. So anyway, she was born 4/3/86, Truth Seeker, this girl. April 3rd's the 93rd day of the year. This date has a numerology of 93. This is another way to extract the date numerology. So I told her that. I said, wow, you're born on the 93rd day of the year. Your date of birth has a connection to the number 93. And I started thinking for a second. I said, all right, so all these guys are doing you bad. I said, have you ever met a Justin before? And she thought about it for a second. She goes, no, I actually haven't known any Justins. But what's weird about that is my parents were going to name me Justin if I was a boy. And I said, are you serious? I said, well, the reason I brought that up is because Justin has a simple English gematria of 93. And when she told me that, I said, you're kidding, right? They weren't really going to name you Justin. And she goes, let me text my mother. She texted her mother. She just texted her a simple text. What were you going to name me if I was a boy? And her mom texted her back in less than a minute, Justin. And I said, wow, look at that. And her parents, they're not Freemasons. They're not numerologists either. But somehow, some way, these synchronicities, they show up over and over and over. Now, some of you might be watching and you might think, well, Zach, maybe this is proof that all your research and the work you're doing isn't the work of Freemasons or Zionists. It's the work of God. And what I would say to that is, perhaps sometimes it really is the work of God, and that's what we've decoded. But so often, I know that the Masons are trying to force these numbers, and I think it's because they know something greater about these numbers. Come on, Truth Seeker. Do you really think a name Dylan Stormroof? I don't think any parents name their kid that on any day. His name sums to 74. Arrested on Interstate 74. He shoots somebody 74 days after Walter Scott. In Bible study class, which has a gematria of 74. In a church established by a man with a 74 name. I don't think so. That said, I do really think there's something truly important to these numbers. And I think if you study your own life, your own relationships, you will find connections like what I've found here. So I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you apply this and learn something new about yourself. That's my goal. All right, until next time, Truth Seeker.